CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest on London's home building efforts. The provincial government provided a multi-million-dollar installment today at City Hall meant to spur more construction. Jerry Dewan has more on the progress made and what's ahead.
They went to the top level of City Hall to announce over $11 million in provincial infrastructure funding after the city met its targets for new housing.
One of the things that we have in this province is an insatiable need for housing, and yes, we have a housing crisis. I call it more of an affordability crisis.
This is the final payment from the Building Faster Fund, with the province and federal government shifting to a program that will provide $8.8 billion over 10 years in order to reduce development charges. Flack says those charges have only fueled the affordability crisis.
Where did it come from? Because we needed this massive infrastructure to support housing growth, to support a population growth. They become punitive in many cases.
Mayor Josh Morgan says the key is to ensure vital new infrastructure can proceed without spiking taxes for long-time ratepayers.
We're not going to be collecting as much development charges. The federal and provincial governments are going to backfill those lost development charges so we can continue to build the infrastructure.
Mayor Morgan says he understands commuter frustrations over the ongoing bus rapid transit construction happening along Wellington Road. He says what has to be kept in mind is all the work that's going on in the ground is going to benefit the city in the long term.
Even if you're not a supporter of BRT, you got to be a supporter of what is over 80% of the cost being the underground end-of-life infrastructure and water and wastewater along that route, and significant upgrades to that and flood protection control measures. There's neighborhoods down there that have been asking for relief on flooded basements for 60 years.
Morgan says he's been given assurances developers will pass along development charges savings to new homebuyers. Flack says the province isn't finished looking for innovative ways to address housing affordability in a cost-effective way, with a pilot program being launched to study municipal service corporations, which can include regional funding strategies for infrastructure projects.
Where we can take a look at borrowing money. These are not a new concept. Over decades, not years, decades, to fund the new infrastructure, but as importantly, the aging infrastructure like we're seeing in London.
The feds in the province have also agreed to a moratorium on the payment of HST on new homes. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
In Saugeen Shores, municipal councillors are considering a controversial plan to speed up the approval process for new home builds. With more on that conversation, here's Scott Miller.
And then do that.
Shovels are now officially in the ground for Port Elgin's latest and largest affordable housing project.
The scale of the housing affordability issue is large enough that we need to start doing larger projects in order to bite off more of the challenge. So this is a larger project, a 28-unit project.
I have just designated this one.
Sheila Latham has no qualms about this project, but she is concerned about future housing developments in Port Elgin and Southampton, specifically a proposed plan to speed up housing approvals from 180 days to 75.
I'm concerned that the CPPS puts Southampton's heritage buildings and our historic identity in jeopardy.
Saugeen Shores is considering implementing a community permit planning system, which would speed up approvals. Latham says by eliminating councillor approval for some housing projects in and near the downtown areas of Port Elgin and Southampton. If certain pre-arranged requirements are met, Saugeen Shores planning staff could green-light some housing projects without any council sign-off, she says.
Why is Saugeen Shores targeting the most important heritage areas of Port Elgin and Southampton for intensification without giving staff the information they need to make good decisions?
Now, Saugeen Shores is one of the fastest growing communities in all of Ontario, adding more than 5,000 residents over the past decade. Saugeen Shores Council is expected to vote on whether to implement a community permit planning system at their July 13th meeting.
The CPPS, has become a bit of a controversial issue in the community, and that's fair enough. And we're listening to the public, and we will ultimately follow what the public wants to see us do. But the public should count on us looking at every possible opportunity to find out ways to build more housing in this town.
In Port Elgin, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A plan will be announced later this week preventing the eviction of formerly homeless Londoners when the House of Hope closes. House of Hope officials recently announced they will close in November, eliminating 48 supportive housing spaces for people who had been living on the street. At the time, $1.4 million in health ministry funding had expired, and neither City Hall nor the provincial government would extend additional dollars to keep the doors open. Today, Mayor Josh Morgan and MPP Rob Flack confirmed a plan to rehouse current residents is being finalized.
The mayor, he has assured me that everyone will have a roof over their head, and I think if you stay tuned later this week, he's going to have an announcement as such in terms of what the long-term plan is.
We're not going to let anybody go out on the streets. We're going to find a space for everybody. There's going to be a more detailed plan that comes out later this week in partnership with a number of others.
A new report on London's downtown office vacancy suggests some of that empty space is starting to fill back up. With more on those numbers and what they mean for the city's core, here's Brian Bicknell.
When the pandemic sent downtown office workers home to work, the loss in foot traffic left some small businesses just trying to hang on. The owner of this coffee shop says he's glad to finally see some workers return.
Between the two office towers, there's about 5,000 people. So even if 10% of those go out at lunch, that's 500 people. And a lot of people don't go 2 or 3 blocks down. They stay in the downtown core. So having everybody back, it breathes new life into the businesses because we are struggling.
According to a report from CBRE, London saw more than 82,000 square feet of office space absorbed in the second quarter of 2026. The overall office vacancy rate dropping 80 basis points to 25%, largely due to activity in the core.
Leasing activity happening from tenants either from outside of the core or new to the city, but also in one instance, one of the downtown landlords invested in their property and converted some less desirable office space into a tenant amenity space.
He's talking about City Center Towers, which saw a significant drop in space because of a large office conversion project. But the report does highlight an increase in leasing activity in both large office towers and mid-sized office buildings. Councillor David Ferreira is encouraged by downtown's recovery.
You saw around 82,000 square feet get recovered. Comparatively speaking with the suburban areas, I think it was around 32,000 square feet was lost. So there's a net variance of around 50,000 square feet that the core has carried the entire city.
And London is following a national trend with the overall Canadian downtown office market now having reached a full year of recovery. Harris says it's a sign the effects of the pandemic are finally starting to ease.
It's more of a macroeconomic thing that's happening with the desire to move away from 100% remote and to more of a structured hybrid.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
The premiers of Ontario and Alberta have announced plans for a new oil pipeline which would deliver crude oil from the prairies to refineries in Sarnia. As Siobhan Morris reports, it's part of a broader strategy to reduce Canada's reliance on foreign markets.
It's a new vision to move oil 3,300 kilometers across multiple provinces. The premiers of Alberta and Ontario are calling it the Northern Shield Energy Corridor, a pipeline.
Built using Canadian steel by Canadian workers that will bring oil from Hardisty, Alberta, to new and expanded refineries in Sarnia, Ontario.
Moving some 500,000 barrels a day through the West-East pipeline, growing up to 800,000.
There is also an opportunity to eventually use this corridor to reach the Atlantic Ocean, which would allow Alberta to provide reliable energy to our nation's European allies.
A feasibility study of this proposal was launched in the fall. So far, it has buy-in of Saskatchewan's leader, but not Ontario's neighbor, Premier Wab Kinew.
He has to consult a little more with his folks in Manitoba, but we'll work something out.
Doug Ford says he'd rather have a private firm finance the project, but he's open to using public dollars.
I think it's a great investment, no matter if it's the government that will get a good ROI over a certain period of time.
A former oil industry player sees red flags on cost and demand.
This pipeline has a very low probability of success. There are so many challenges. Wouldn't put a lot of faith that this is going to happen anytime soon.
Ontario says it's already started consultations with Indigenous communities. Its feasibility study will be finished by the end of the year. That's when we should get a better idea of what cost might be. Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
Provincial police say they're investigating a fatal crash from the weekend in southwest Oxford. A motorcycle rider was killed slamming into the side of a pickup truck just north of Tillsonburg. As Brent Lail reports, it happened at an intersection with a reputation.
For 27 years, Rick Davis has been the eyes and ears of the intersection of Plank Road and Ostrander Road.
This is my first witnessing somebody die on the spot.
Rick was on his usual perch Saturday afternoon when he saw a pickup truck towing an RV pull out in front of a motorcycle heading north on Plank Road.
And I could actually see his face, like horror, and then I watched both hands on the brakes and the bike just slid in slow motion, and then I seen it hit the back of the trailer, and he just come down like a rag doll. And within seconds, bystanders were out there doing CPR on him.
Witnesses say the 50-year-old motorcycle driver from Woodstock died instantly. He was transported to hospital where he was pronounced deceased. The investigation by Oxford OPP remains ongoing with assistance from collision reconstructionists and the traffic incident management team.
Unfortunately, a fatality took place, and we all knew as neighbors this was going to happen.
Those who live near the intersection are not surprised.
The increase in traffic, the reckless driving, lack of stopping, passing, it's ridiculous.
Davis says on a busy day, it can sometimes be more than 10 minutes before vehicles can cross east-west on Ostrander.
This is a very dangerous intersection. Nobody does 60 kilometers going through here, and a lot of them just do jackrabbit stops because you got to get across there somehow.
And it has neighbors asking for increased enforcement and changes to the intersection.
Something that makes people stop, not just a stop sign, because that doesn't work.
Stoplight, I guess. But then people run stoplights too.
Near Tillsonburg, Brent Lail, CTV News.
Oxford OPP say they're investigating a stolen pride flag in Ingersoll. Police provided this image showing the flagpole at Laurie Hawkins Public School, which they say was cut down Saturday night. Police described the suspects as 4 young white men wearing face coverings, one of whom was carrying a battery-operated handsaw. Daily GO train service has resumed in Stratford. Starting today, one train is heading east to Union Station in Toronto in the morning with a return trip to Stratford in the afternoon. Metrolinx officials say the service will run year-round, 7 days a week. Elgin County OPP say they arrested one person after an hours-long standoff in West Lorne yesterday. Police had shut down multiple streets after a reported disturbance. They say a man had barricaded himself inside a residence, drawing multiple police units to the scene in response. After nearly 6 hours, police say the man was arrested without further incident. Rising traffic volumes are impacting many residential neighborhoods in London, but 4 streets in White Oaks pose a challenge other areas don't have to contend with. A steady stream of student drivers testing their skills. With more, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Driving school students inch their way through three-point turns near Patricia Sturgeon's house from morning till night.
At least 40 to 50 per day. It starts from at least 7 in the morning till at least 9 at night.
Sturgeon says it's a safety issue having so many student drivers on a residential street where children ride their bikes and scooters. She adds that the three-point turns can sometimes trigger traffic jams.
They block the whole road, that's when we have to stop and wait. And then they do their backups and they do their everything around here.
It is a steady stream. You can stand at an intersection and just watch different companies come into this neighborhood.
Ward Councillor Elizabeth Pelosa says neighbors have signed a petition about the excessive number of student drivers on their streets. She says driving instructors bring students to practice on the same 4 crescents where part of the actual MTO driving test often takes place: Archer Crescent, Elaine Crescent, Piers Crescent, and Stroud Crescent.
They tend to focus on what the ministry's course is. So you have parents coming out, the ministry coming out, and any potential driver's ed company across the region coming out on these local streets to practice the routes.
City Hall does not have the authority to restrict where the Ministry of Transportation does its driver testing. However, through the business licensing bylaw, it may be able to limit where driver training schools can operate. Pelosa is requesting that city staff develop options to restrict where driving school instruction can take place, including penalties for non-compliance. She emphasizes the approach would only ban driving school instruction, not parents teaching their kids or the official MTO driving test.
Realizing these are absolutely public roadways, it's not a private community, it would need to come through our business and licensing bylaws. So working with our director for compliance of what those would look like. Other municipalities have them in place.
I think the ministry needs to step in more to state that, give them the idea points of where they should not be blocking residential areas.
Pelosa says the goal is to spread out the driving lessons more evenly throughout the city. Her motion that directs staff to develop possible solutions will be considered by a council committee next week. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Local astronaut Jeremy Hansen is leaving the Canadian Space Agency. According to a statement from the agency, Hansen will pursue new professional opportunities in September while serving as a reservist in the Canadian Air Force. Hansen was part of the historic Artemis II mission back in April, which took him and his 3 American crewmates around the far side of the moon, traveling farther from Earth than any Canadian before him. When we come back, asleep at the wheel, the viral video out of BC prompting a police investigation over a self-driving Tesla. Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the energy and utility sectors. The TSX fell 63 points. In New York, the Dow gained 156. The Nasdaq added 288. The Canadian dollar down almost 1/10 cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $40 an ounce. Oil lost 14 cents a barrel. Police in British Columbia say they're investigating after a video surfaced online appearing to show a woman asleep at the wheel while her Tesla cruised down the highway. As Craig Krause reports, those vehicles are supposed to have safeguards to prevent that from happening.
A shocking video captured on Highway 1 between Golden and Revelstoke over the weekend. A woman can be seen in the driver's seat of this Tesla. She appears to be asleep at the wheel, with several people inside the car, including children.
And I looked, I was like, that lady looks like she's sleeping. And I did a triple take.
Carly King recorded the vehicle as her husband passed it, both in disbelief, leaving her to call police, fearing the driver was suffering a medical emergency.
Did you see her hand on the wheel at all? Or
No. But there was a cover on the steering wheel. So I don't know how it all works, but
scary.
Very scary.
It remains unclear how the Tesla continued down the highway, but police say they're investigating. The driver could be facing more than $2,000 in fines.
Unfortunately, we've seen this before. More and more, we are seeing people rely on automated technologies that are not legal in the province of British Columbia.
While the technology exists, fully autonomous driving remains a long way off in BC. Current policy only allows level 2 driver assistance, meaning the driver must remain alert, engaged, and in control while the vehicle is moving.
We don't know what the moral decision-making is that's programmed into these vehicles. And the moral decision-making, it can be a significant impact in situations where a collision is unavoidable and you have to choose between sort of the lesser of two evils.
Without human control, those life and death decisions could ultimately be left to artificial intelligence. As for King, she says she hesitated to release the video, but hopes it serves as a wake-up call for drivers and policymakers.
greater safety of our communities is probably the most important thing, and maybe learning a valuable lesson, and hopefully nobody gets hurt doing that kind of stuff in the future.
Craig Crow, CTV News, Vancouver.
Good evening. Just a few clouds overnight, and you'll wake up to some sunshine in the morning. Thanks, Linda, for this photo of Lincoln Alexander. Lincoln's heading out for a walk with Linda this morning. Temperature around 19 to 22 degrees, and the winds will be light. Another steamy day on the way as we head into your Tuesday afternoon. It'll feel like the upper 30s. Stay with us. I'll have your local weather details in just a few minutes.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie now, and we're starting this week off with what sounds like it's a bit more of a typical summer. We're getting some relief. We're not seeing those widespread warnings we had last week, but you know, it is still summer in London.
Yes. So temperatures over the next few days.
More comfortable, maybe.
Yes, 29 to 30. Now, it will feel like the upper 30s tomorrow. So after what was a cooler start to the week, the temperature is expected to climb tomorrow and the humidity increasing. So we are expecting some hot weather. However, we are not under any watches or warnings. Today was seasonal across southern Ontario. We do have an area of high pressure building in, and it's starting to scour out that cloud cover. We did have a fairly thick deck of cloud in place. Light easterly flow through the day today, and a weak area of low pressure that was moving by to the south, and that brought a little bit of rainfall and some cloud cover, especially along that northern shoreline of Lake Erie, where the cloud cover was a bit more persistent through the afternoon. The exception, as we head through central Huron, Perth, Grey Bruce, you had a nice day with that mix of sun and cloud and a nice night underway. Area of high pressure will continue to drift over the Great Lakes, and that will bring a beautiful day heading into tomorrow. We will see a little bit of cloud cover develop in the afternoon, and there's a slight risk for a pop-up shower as we head into late afternoon. But most of the day should see a nice mix of sun and cloud, just a bit of instability out there. So as a result, the heat and humidity building, we could see a few light showers as we head towards Grey and Bruce County tomorrow afternoon, although the probability on the lower end is about a 40% chance. Tonight, not cool and comfortable, but temperatures will be seasonal, a bit above normal through the overnight, 18 to 19 degrees as we head through Kitchener, Waterloo, Mount Forest, and if you're near the shoreline of Lake Huron, 17 to 18 degrees. Your Tuesday forecast, a mix of sun and cloud. If you're making it a beach day, it's going to be a beautiful one, 29 degrees as we head into the afternoon. Again, a bit more cloud cover rolling in later in the day, and with a slight risk for a pop-up shower. Daytime high, Tuesday 29, 30 degrees on Wednesday with full sunshine. Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud, risk for showers Thursday afternoon. No, Thursday afternoon, I'll be keeping an eye on this cold front because the timing of this, if it comes through a bit early in the day, we could see the potential for some severe weather. So Thursday night into Friday, there is the risk for some rainfall. And note the temperature dip from 29 down to 26 degrees. So getting a bit more comfortable heading into the weekend. Saturday, mainly sunny and 27, a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, and another beautiful July weekend setting up. That carries us into Monday. Midwestern Ontario, your forecast tomorrow, probability a bit higher for showers towards Grey Bruce, a 40% chance of rain. You'll get through the majority of the day rain-free through Huron, Perth, a nice mix of sun and cloud, but a bit more cloud cover, especially towards the Bruce Peninsula. Daytime highs over the next few days from 28 to 29 degrees. We do have some showers on the way Thursday with that cold front rolling in. Temperatures dip, more comfortable heading into the weekend, but the weekend is looking lovely with a mix of sun and cloud, both Saturday and Sunday. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. An opportunity this past weekend for Londoners who don't have access to a family doctor to get checked over by a dermatologist. With more on the mobile mole clinic and the demand, here's Sean Irvin.
While a line of people waits outside, inside this mobile mole clinic, dermatologist Dr. Denise Wexler examines her first patient of the day. Marg had arrived early at this clinic operated by the charity Melanoma Canada. She has been concerned about a growth near her shoulder. Dr. Wexler determines it is non-cancerous.
So nothing at all to worry about.
And Marg had been worried for 5 months since seeing her family doctor. Wait times for specialists are lengthy.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into a dermatologist. It's long waits, and I was able to see this come to London here, and I greatly appreciated being able to get in.
The mobile mole clinic, which made 2 stops in London, is traveling the country to help combat long wait times and rising incidences of skin cancers. But even here, lines can be long as people worry about their skin.
These lines can get massive. Sometimes we show up and there's 100 people already lined up. it can get very busy, and it just shows the need for dermatologists.
In 2025, 8,000 patients were screened, 985 suspicious lesions detected, and 222 melanomas were found.
Some of the skin cancers are relatively benign. They just grow in the area, but others are not benign, and they can affect your life. So it is very important that they get diagnosed early.
While the mobile mole clinic will not return to the London area until next summer, Melanoma Canada states it remains vital that patients speak to a family doctor. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Finally tonight, London-born quarterback Taylor Elgersma made his pro football debut last night, helping the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to a win over Hamilton. Karis Mapp has more on the injury that provided his opportunity.
Elgersma with 20 touchdowns in 2024 for the Golden Hawks, and this time gives it off on the end around, heading inside the 15, and it's Pokey Wilson, touchdown!
Taylor Elgersma making his professional football debut last night as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The former Laurier Golden Hawk quarterback taking snaps after starter Zach Collaros left the game early with an injury.
Taylor jumped into the fray, which is exactly what you're asked to do when you're in that situation as the backup.
Elgersma recently returning to Canada after chasing opportunities in the NFL.
Playing on the biggest stages of Canadian university football and then getting his opportunity with the Green Bay Packers. I think he's not scared by any situation.
The rookie leading the Blue Bombers to a come-from-behind 14-13 win.
Being a young guy getting there for the first time, you can kind of expect some certain pressures from the defense, and we did a great job managing that to start when I got in there.
I got the opportunity to text with him a little bit after the game, and he was very Taylor-like, already kind of like, thank you, it was a team win. And so just kind of his personality that he's not a guy to put the spotlight on himself ever. And so he's still very much himself through all of this.
Elgersma wasn't the only player on the field with ties to Waterloo. Former University of Waterloo QB Trey Ford also came into the game after Ticats star Bo Levi Mitchell was carted off the field with an injury.
When I realized when Bo Levi Mitchell went down that Trey Ford might be coming in, I'm looking at Dwayne Ford, who's working with me in the booth, and going, Dwayne, I'm pretty sure we're just going to get a Laurier-Waterloo game right now.
Marking the first time two U Sports quarterbacks have attempted a pass in a CFL game since 1969.
There's just always been fighting this little bit of stigma that our quarterback development in Canada is not quite there compared to, American quarterbacks who come up.
Showing some of what Canadian quarterbacks have to offer.
The quarterback development in this country is better than it has ever been before, so you're getting more and more players coming out every year that are worthy of the opportunity.
Karis Mapp, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.